It affects your wife because an undisciplined father is often an unconfident father. An undisciplined father is a father who can't be relied upon. He's one who's not dependable. An undisciplined father is one who, when the wife asks him if he can complete a task or a project or lead something in the house, she is wary of whether he will do it or not, and will then become nagging because that is her faulty way of communicating with him, hey, I need to make sure you get this thing done. Whereas if the father was disciplined, reliable, and dependable, none of that would have to happen. Not every wife goes to that nagging communication style, obviously, but that can be a default for a lot of them. And no one's perfect. I'm not perfect. All women aren't perfect. All wives aren't perfect. We've got our own issues too, such as being undisciplined sometimes. But the more undisciplined the father is, the less of a leader he is, usually the more resentful, nagging, and cold and unfeminine the wife is. Because she's forced into this masculine leadership role that she's never meant to be in, she doesn't want to be in. Or maybe this has just become her identity over the past decade since you've abdicated that responsibility to her. So, yes, so your lack of discipline affects her big time. She wants to rely on you. She wants to know that you're taking care of everything. She doesn't want to be in charge of the finances all the time. Unless that's your situation and you guys have agreed upon and that's working great for you, then keep doing it. But I've talked to many guys who've abdicated that and just said, I don't want to deal with this. Because they're undisciplined, their wife just has to take over. And she runs the schedule. She runs the finances. She's making sure everything is happening. And the father comes home from work. He's like, hey, honey, hope everything's taken care of. So yes, lack of discipline absolutely affects your wife. And not all these examples are going to apply to every single person. That's not the intent here. The intent here is to identify some mirror instances where you can say, hey, that's me. This is an area of my life where I can improve and fix. So yes, lack of discipline affects you. It affects your confidence, your identity, your self-belief, and self-worth. It affects your wife. It affects your relationship, your passion. Okay, it affects your health, obviously. One of the biggest things, one of the main reasons guys want to join us is because they have tried the 1,000 other things that are offered that focus on external reasons for why you're out of shape and not the real reason, which is why you can't stop yourself from getting a milkshake. They don't focus on discipline, consistency, identity, self-worth, self-belief, strategies of self-sabotage. Their systems are, oh, your bench press technique is wrong. That's why you're fat. No, it's because whenever you walk past a bowl of Skittles, you can't stop yourself from putting your hand in it. That's why you're fat. So yeah, your body goes, and we can spend 30 minutes talking about the consequences of not having the body you want, as we started off with the beach example, and self-belief, self-confidence, testosterone tanking, health, early death, bad model for your kids, being a hypocrite, many things, but there's other things in this podcast. I'm going to get to the blueprint and strategies, how to help you. So also your kids, right? I was a teacher for 15 years. The students that were the most sloppy, undisciplined, never had things turned into, you open their backpack, stuff just falls out on the ground. Most of the time, their parents were the same way. You had the oddball kid and the exception where that you met the parents at a conference and they were like straight A students, super strict, and they're like, I don't know what happened to this kid. He's the complete opposite. That also happens sometimes. But yeah, our kids model us. If your kid goes into your car and there's stuff everywhere, he's like sitting on wrappers and there's, there's dirt and it's just a mess in the car. Are you in a situation where you can then yell at your kid if his book bag is messy, if his locker's messy, if his teacher says, hey, Nathan, why is your locker messy? And then your car's a disaster. Is that acceptable? Or is he just modeling what his parents gave him as a child? From the parent to the son. Is he just modeling that? Yeah, he's just modeling that. If your office is a disaster, your bedroom's a disaster, there's clothes everywhere, are you in a position of moral authority where you can then ask your kids to be disciplined? If I was in that position, I wouldn't even say anything. I would feel like such a hypocrite. I would say, no, Chris, I must fix myself first before I even consider saying anything to my kids. Otherwise, I'm just a hypocrite. And the words I'm speaking to them won't have an effect. So I get no bonus points for saying the right thing. Like, oh, a father's supposed to say, no, don't say it until you've lived it. Until you can model discipline, don't speak about discipline. That's it. What are you great at? What is your skill set? What's your authority? Speak on that. Speak on a thing you're living. If you want to talk about rules, expectations, respect, integrity, well, then you have to live that life. Once you live that life, then you can pass that on to your kids. Otherwise, they're just going to see you as, yeah, my dad talked a big game. He was such a hypocrite. Let's not do that. Let's avoid that and have you become the lighthouse, the disciplined, inspiring leader that your family deserves. So it affects you, it affects your wife, it affects your kids. If you have a business, it affects your business. We have business owners who join us because they're stalled out or they're decaying or they know there's something more for them. They know that they're leaving stuff on the table because, once again, they know what to do in their business, but their lack of discipline is causing them to stay stuck. Has nothing to do with needing the right strategy. For some people, it is. Like I said, there's some people who are disciplined, can do what they set their mind out to, and they do need the right strategy. For them, joining a business mastermind where you're learning these little golden nuggets and things, that's exactly what they need. For other people, they just, they say, okay, I have an hour set aside today to call clients to try to get more sales, but I just scroll YouTube for an hour. So spending 20 grand on a business mastermind isn't going to solve that. No, you need to fix your discipline problem. You just need to get up when the alarm goes off and use the gym as a training ground for you. You need to reforge the man. You don't need some multimillionaire to tell you what book he read. For many people I talk to, their ceiling, their threshold for success in all these areas is just discipline. I can't get myself to do it. We have had tons of business people come to us with the exact same problem. And then it's crazy. It's if you have the right perspective, these things can happen. If you come into someone's program and your only goal is looks, you're just going to get looks. You're going to miss all the other stuff. But if you're surrounded by people and coaches who are saying, no, this is where our direction is right now. We want to be selfless leaders. We want to move our life ahead. We want to have a legacy. We want to be disciplined and consistent. If you're surrounded by that environment, then you can make these other changes. But you need the right environment. I'll just keep using the business owner, for example. We've also had salespeople doing the same thing. Or people we've had a teacher come in who is on the way to quitting his job and starting his own business. As you master your physical discipline, your income goes up. It happened to me. I'm telling you firsthand, yes. I don't have a double-blind, placebo-controlled study to say this. I did not get my master's in discipline. I'm saying this happened with my life, and it has happened with the hundreds of other guys that I've worked with, and it just makes sense. Logically makes sense. If you can get yourself to do something you don't want to do. I'm going to say it as simply as possible. If you can get yourself to do something you don't want to do, that is a muscle that you now have. That is a weapon you can deploy anywhere.